If you're a business owner and you just make videos, post them, and hope they go viral with no pre-production, no strategy, no thinking of how this is going to drive revenue to your business, I can guarantee you are not going to get results. In this video, I'm gonna break down the entire A to Z strategy I personally use to dominate organic media for the absolute biggest entrepreneurs on YouTube. And this is not just getting the most amount of attention, which we absolutely get, but it is to turn the entire purpose of the channel into a lead machine for your business. I actually highly recommend taking notes because this is going to be the highest ROI over the next 15 minutes for your business, humanly possible. So first off, how do you build a channel? Let's say I was starting from scratch with a new client, which I'm about to do in the tax category. So how do you go about thinking in terms of what is the best strategy across YouTube, social media, and everything to get the maximum results? Because we want as much engagement as possible. A lot of people say, don't worry about views. That's just because they don't understand how to get views. The goal is to utterly dominate your niche and get by far the most amount of views. But also, that is going to relate to the most amount of customers if you have the right strategy. So first off, understand the same way you do for any marketing campaign that you would ever do. Who is your target audience? You have to define these before you even think about structuring video ideas. Who are you making these videos for? What is the objective? What is your end goal with the channel? Is it just to drive revenue? Do you have a bigger plan? Once you think of your target audience, which you should already know for your business anyway, you want to be thinking of a content strategy that is going to be hitting the pain points of your ideal audience and solving those problems for them in the video. Then you have to understand what your unique credibility and edge is. If I personally started a tax channel right now, even with the best strategy in the entire world, I am not going to be converting to customers because I don't have a tax company. I'm not a CPA. I know very little about tax. So why would someone listen to me? I have no credibility. This is why I work with the largest business owners that have extreme credibility, because I know how to leverage it and hit their audience pain points. And what you're about to see, create the best strategy where the entire intent is monetizing the fuck out of the audience while the audience loves it and is begging for more. So the next thing is you have to know how to make a good video. When you know the types of videos that you're going to be making and who you're looking to target, you need to structure video ideas that are hitting those pain points or promising them a better future. So if it was for tax, you could say how to pay taxes legally, and even if you make millions. And so that is running towards pleasure. Or how to legally avoid capital gains tax. Or this one tax strategy saved my client $2 million. These are all running towards pleasure. The next would be using your unique credibility. This person is another one of my clients is Robert Kiyosaki, and the person that we might be taking on as a client is his tax advisor, Tom Wheelwright. So how Robert Kiyosaki pays no tax, in parentheses, from his tax advisor. That is something that is using unique credibility that he has of being someone's famous CPA and going over how this person pays no tax. And then you would also want things that are hitting pain points. So this one is you're wasting 20 years of your life and you don't even know it yet. And that is you're spending 20% of your working time on tax. That's the idea for the video. So you have to understand the pain points and what the objective are for these videos. For every single one of the videos, you have to have the pre-production of what is the video about? Are you confirming the title, thumbnail? What is the structure of the video? How are you providing as much value as humanly possible? And then in the video, there's always going to be other problems that arise. So if this is a top of the funnel video where you're just trying to get maximum reach, you might give a CTA, a call to action, to a lead magnet, which is providing additional value. And you should be structuring those lead magnets pre-planned for the video. So if the video was about how to stop paying taxes legally, and you give a checklist of 7, say there's another 15 tax strategies that we can use, I made a full list of the 21 that you can download here. And so that is part of the video that is naturally coming up that solves additional problems for the viewer that is already going to be a pain point. If you want to make this more extreme, if you have a small audience, you could say, if you want my trusted team to take a look at your tax returns and figure out what you could have done better and give you a better strategy moving forward, then you can book a free call here. And so what is that doing? You are now making a video that is the entire goal of the video is to get people on a sales call. And so they're basically watching a webinar, which is a VSL on YouTube where they're choosing to watch, where you show them their pain points, where they're enjoying, and then they go straight to book a team with your call, and you can pre-qualify them beforehand so you're not just wasting time. And so these are actual simple strategies that I'm going over right now, and we are going to get substantially more in depth as we go. So the first step is come up with a strategy. Second is you actually have to understand YouTube. The fucking thing that bothers me the most is business owners suck at YouTube. They don't understand what gets clicked. They literally are hurting themselves most of the time by having titles and thumbnails that are incredibly cringy or does not fit their market or audience. The first step is you have to understand YouTube. You have to understand what makes a great title, what makes a great thumbnail, what makes a great hook, what makes a good structure of the video. And it's not always the same. For one of my clients, where we were doing 3 million long form views per month in the most niche finance space of all time, there is almost no editing at all because of who the audience is. A lot of people completely neglect who the audience is made for. And when you're thinking of strategy and how you're going to create the team for your thumbnails and for your editors, you have to understand who your target audience is and how they're used to consuming their information. If you have TikTok style editing for a tax company, that makes absolutely no sense because your target audience is 45-year-old business owners who are making over $2 million per year. Does that audience need the TikTokification of editing? No, they just want value. So you have to be editing and structuring your videos and coming up with formats that fit the style of the viewers that you're looking for. And they're probably similar to how you want to consume information. This is one of the biggest problems that I see. A lot of business owners, they either start their videos off terribly, have the worst thumbnails in the entire world, and have terrible structure and no strategy, and they're not really giving away any real value, or they try and overproduce everything, get themselves in the nicest fucking office they could, or podcast studio they could find, have every single word scripted where it sounds very unauthentic, and they have the worst, most high produced editing of just flash cuts, flash cuts, flash cuts. That does not help. That is counterintuitive towards your audience. For if you're trying to sell a super low ticket offer to a 18-year-old kid, then that actually makes sense. But for 99% of cases, or for all the business owners that I work with, their target audience is very high net worth individuals. And for one of my clients, we were doing 9 figures per year in capital raised for his deals. And if you looked at the editing, you would never ever suspect it because it's very chill and it fits the vibe because he's targeting 60-year-old plus men. And so we just make videos for them, even though we want them to get as many views as possible. Understanding who your target audience is, you have to know how different editing styles and different thumbnail styles is going to impact them. So now, once you have a content strategy, there's going to be a few videos that are, the entire goal of them is to be your bottom of the funnel content that gets the most amount of views. And most people think about this the complete wrong way. They think bottom of the funnel videos cannot get that many views, but that is not the case. Actually, the highest performing video on all my clients' channels are the bottom of the funnel video because that is the call to action for every other video that we make. We understand who we want to be watching that video, and usually it has very low views. But because we understand that, the goal, you have to think about, how does YouTube get paid? It gets paid by keeping people on the platform. That means every single video that we make, the call to action at the end of it is another video. And that's usually the super salesy VSL, even though in that video it's never salesy. It's just the video that targets your target audience to the best degree possible. It's basically what you would do for a webinar where you're trying to build a signature video that does all the heavy lifting. It is ideally your best sales pitch and your clearest offer, and it converts the highest amount of cold viewers into customers as well as warm audience. We use that video to actually nurture the other audiences, and every single other video that you post should push traffic towards this one. Most people are either trying to sell way too hard through their content and making it feel like an ad, or they are way too scared to ask. So you have to have a middle ground. So what you want is education that builds belief, and you want to show the viewer that you understand their problem better than they do. Then ideally, you just introduce your method as the clear solution. So you show them the problem and then you also have the solution. And then once they're sold, hey, I actually can do this and I believe I can do this and this is going to work for me because you showed me my problem and you showed me that you have the solution, it makes sense for me. The next step is just to buy your product. And then the big thing is, okay, so I'm gonna just be a content slave and I'm gonna have to make videos. No, that's actually not true. And I don't mean this to make this an ad for my business, but because I'm incredibly picky with the types of clients that I take on, but every single one of my clients spends less than 1 hour per week recording. That is the goal, because I want to work with the biggest business owners that are running a company, and they should be. And all I take is 1 hour of their time to do 100% of that weekly content. Or they can just do 4 hours per month, bang everything out, and then they have the entire month's worth of content 100% done, of all long form videos, all short form videos, all written work, all emails, all lead magnets are already built in. And we have the VSLs where the entire intent is to drive customers for their business. And you can have all that pre-planned out with the proper strategy. Start with strategy, pre-production, and then it becomes substantially easier. If you think that monetization comes after you build the audience, you are moving the wrong way. You should be thinking of monetization from day one, because the types of audience that you want to attract to buy your product is who you should be making videos for to begin with. So what you really want to do is use your content as a bridge to your sales calls or your products. It depends on your ticket price. It depends on your offer. It depends on the types of product that you're servicing. If you're raising money for deals, like one of my clients where we're trying to raise minimum $250,000 per deal or per investor, you are not going to just sell that person from an email. You get them on the phone. There needs to be more nurturing to it. If you're selling a $100 per month info product, the entire strategy is different, but the system is the same no matter what you're doing. And this is actually how you can scale substantially faster than anyone else in the space. Also, without burning out. Every single video stacks on top of the last and it compounds. You don't go from just posting, but you're building an entire digital ecosystem that just crushes it for you. Now, I know this seems incredibly overwhelming, but I promise you, if you can really start to understand this on a deep level, this is going to completely dominate whatever niche you are in. And you can do most of this with AI right now. You can train AI on everything that you've done in the past so it starts to understand your language. You can train it on who your target audience is, the types of business that you're trying to create, what you're trying to create videos for. You can train it on how to create better videos for your scripts. Once you have the pre-planned out video, you can have it make lead magnets for you with your help, where you're building in lead magnets into the video that solve additional problems for the audience. For the video production, you can send substantial editing notes to the editors. For the automation and actually qualifying your leads, because for one of my clients, the biggest problem is that we're bringing them too many leads and their team doesn't know what to do with it. So how do you process that? How do you qualify those leads? How do you upsell or downsell every single lead that comes in so we know where we're sending them? If you are a business with multiple offers, every single lead that comes in, you should know which video it's coming in from. And then more importantly, knowing where you are going to send them. Are you sending them to a low ticket offer? Or are you trying to qualify them? Because you can actually have an automated personalized outreach to every single lead that comes in to find out where they're at and have a higher conversion rate. If they're qualified, sending them to a sales call. If they're unqualified, send them to a low ticket offer or just continue to nurture them. This is how you make content that attracts attention and you convert it into customers. This is a system that makes your brand substantially larger as well. Most people will not do this, but I promise you, 12 months from now, you will look back at this video and say, this changed everything, because this is very, very basic. And I could go substantially more complex, but if you were doing this, you would be ahead of 99% of businesses on YouTube. And this is just the bare minimum that I think everyone should be implementing. If you are a large business in an awesome niche, because I only want to work with someone where if we take them on, we are going to utterly dominate their niche in the first 6 months. And you want all of this done for you, like I do for every single one of my clients. You can apply and see if it is a right fit for us to work together. But if it's not, if you're not a large business and you're just trying to do this because you see the value of building a large brand and how much money it can generate, the strategy is substantially more important than just making a video and making another video and changing formats and changing your style and changing what you're doing because you don't know what to do. Start with strategy, and then you can build everything around that strategy. And I promise you, it will work. It will, because YouTube is a complete democracy. I just started this channel, and I guarantee you, within the next 6 months, this channel has at least 10,000 subscribers because I have a strategy. I know who my target audience is, and every single video that I make is for that target audience. And if you don't see the value, there was actually a video in 2011. It went on to make over $300 million. It is the highest converting VSL of all time that was posted on YouTube and have since been deleted. I promise you, this is going to be one of the most valuable videos you can watch next.